Let's do a couple of quick Trump updates here at the end of the show, much to the pleasure of many and dismay of others. Trump increasingly having a smaller and smaller role on this show and in American politics. And I think that that's a great thing to the extent that he's horrible and dangerous for American democracy. Let's start. Report from Bess Levin of the Vanity Fair. Trump has been hibernating at home for almost a month. Yes, Trump has barely left his house since announcing that he's running for president in 2024. After a less than rapturous response to his 2024 campaign announcement, the ex-president has barely left the grounds of Mar-a-Lago. Something is going on here. Something is going on. Bess Levin writes about Trump's preparation to announce the bid for office and the assumption that this would start a 2-year period in which he would be feted the world over. Everywhere he went, people would spontaneously break into song and dance, thanking their favorite president for stepping up to rescue the country. It has not really happened that way. Trump has not really been interviewed on any prominent media since announcing, hey, I'm a former president and I'm running again. That's normally would be pretty big news. And as Bess Levin writes, in reality, things didn't entirely pan out that way. Almost no one in the Republican Party has come out to support Trump, despite threats to punish Republicans who don't endorse him. Rupert Murdoch's media empire has spent considerable time and effort telling people he's a loser. And a new Yahoo News YouGov poll released Thursday has Florida Governor Ron DeSantis beating Trump by 5 points. DeSantis hasn't even announced that he's running, remember. Instead of 24/7 parades, he was hit with a guilty conviction for his family business, which a jury said committed 17 different crimes. And Ivanka made clear she wants nothing to do with Trump's future endeavors. So the point here is Trump's really not leaving his house. He's essentially not leaving. The Washington Post writes, Trump's seclusion within the ornate walls. I call them gaudy. You can call them ornate. I would call them gaudy walls. Trump's seclusion within the ornate walls of his club and a series of controversies from dinner with anti-Semites Ye and Nick Fuentes to a social media post suggesting the termination of Constitution have left him isolated within his own party as he tries to mount a political comeback. Herschel Walker's loss on Tuesday is the latest blow, prompting more Republicans to join the chorus faulting him for dragging down the party's performance in this year's midterms. The former president presents our biggest risk of losing for 2024, and conservatives are tired of losing, said Bob Vanderplatz, head of the Family Leader, a social conservative group. So bottom line, Trump's barely leaving his house. And it seems as though things are not going particularly well. There's one really funny thing about this. Now, let's talk about the political implications first. We're 2 years away, just under 2 years away. I guess we're 23 months away, if we want to make a more accurate countdown, from the 2024 election. It's too early to say there's no momentum and this is going to fail. We just don't know that at this point in time. We need to wait and see if Trump mounts some momentum. This is far earlier than typically people announce that they are running. But we've already seen at least one very good article making the case that Trump may not even make it to the first Republican primaries, which I believe it's Iowa. I believe it's Iowa on both sides. And that if he doesn't get momentum going at some point in time, he may just drop out rather than lose. Now, someone like Michael Cohen all along argued Trump wouldn't run. Trump's running, but is he really running in the sense that if you announce and then you never leave your house and then you just slowly and quietly go away, did you really run? Maybe not. That's maybe more of a semantic discussion. The really funny thing is that in the run-up to the 2020 election, Trump and MAGA and the Q wing of the party spent the entire time slamming President Joe Biden, then candidate Joe Biden, for hiding in his basement and not campaigning. Now, there was a pandemic at the time, you may recall, and he still won. And as I've said before, the really humiliating thing isn't that Biden was in his basement. It's that if Biden was in his basement, Trump lost by a lot to a guy who was in his basement. But now, as the tables seem to turn, it's Trump who is just hanging out at home and wishing people getting married at Mar-a-Lago well and this sort of thing. I don't really know how Trump turns this thing around. And what I mean by that is He can hold rallies, but there's no rallies for other candidates right now because there's no other elections. The midterm is over. So would a random Trump rally in January of 2023, when you're running for something in 2024, is that going to get attention, or is it going to seem just kind of pathetic? I don't know. That's one option. Number two, who is going to go and kiss the ring at Mar-a-Lago when it's not clear that Trump actually maintains the political cachet that people would in the Republican Party would feel the need to do that? Yes, Carrie Lake is sucking up to Trump because she wants to be his VP. Yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene is sucking up to Trump because she wants to be his VP. But the people, and then you've got people like Mitt Romney who have said not voting for him no matter what. But it's very clear that the vast majority of Republicans at this point are taking a kind of wait and see approach, which is we're not going to get behind him until we see how much power he commands. And at this point, it's not very clear because he's losing in the polls to people who haven't even announced, namely Ron DeSantis. So we're going to follow it, but this is increasingly a guy who looks like he's out of options. And for now, he's staying at home. The one thing he is doing is he's posting to Truth Social.
Truth Central.
And I want to talk about that next.
Before you go, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more, please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can click the subscribe button below or above or wherever it is on your screen. And if you want to support my work even more strongly, the best way is to get a membership at joinpacman.com and subscribe to the podcast for The David Pakman Show. There you can check out interviews, longer clips, and much more. It's on all the big podcasting platforms. Just search for The David Pakman Show, and all the links are also down below in the video description.